Welcome to this explainer. Okay, I was recently looking at some data out of South Asia, and the industrial momentum we're about to unpack is genuinely fascinating. Today, we're taking a macro to micro deep dive into Pakistan's surging auto sector, and then we're going to look under the hood of the heavy hitter driving so much of this activity, Toyota Indus. We've got some incredible market data to go through, and a corporate case study that perfectly illustrates how to navigate and capitalize on an exploding consumer market.
So let's dive right in. Here's our roadmap for today. First, Pakistan's auto sales boom. Second, we'll meet Toyota and Juice. Third, local assembly versus imports. Fourth, decades of financial growth. And finally, the hybrid export future.
Section 1. Pakistan's auto sales boom. To truly understand the scale of what's happening right now, we have to look at the macroeconomic data released by the Pakistan Automotive Manufacturers Association.
39.4%. That is the staggering year-over-year percentage jump in cumulative vehicle sales for the 2026 fiscal year. I mean, in any heavy manufacturing industry, seeing a growth rate touching 40% in a single year is absolutely extraordinary. This isn't just some slight market correction. It is a massive surge in consumer demand and industrial output.
To put that percentage into absolute terms, we're talking about cumulative sales of cars, light commercial vehicles, vans, and Jeeps. Back in FY25, the industry sold just over 148,000 units, but jumped to FY26, and we see a massive leap to over 206,000 units. That is tens of thousands of brand new vehicles hitting the roads in a remarkably short time frame. It's a real testament to a rapidly activating consumer base.
So where is all this volume actually coming from? Well, this momentum, which by the way included a massive 28.8% month-on-month jump just between May and June of 2026, is largely being driven by smaller, more accessible cars. The below 1,000cc engine category is the absolute powerhouse here. It led passenger car sales with 7,719 units in June alone. The big takeaway for us is that this boom isn't just happening at the luxury tier, it's being fueled by everyday consumers entering the mobility market.
Section 2. Meet Toyota Indus. To really understand how the industry is scaling to meet this surge in demand, we need to look at the bedrock titan driving it, and that's Toyota Indus. They didn't just appear overnight to capitalize on the FY26 boom, right? The company was incorporated back in 1989 as a strategic joint venture between the local House of Habib, Toyota Susho, and Toyota Motors. By 1993, they had kicked off commercial operations at their massive Port Qasim facility. Fast forward to the year 2000, and they began capturing that exact small car market we just talked about by locally producing the 850cc Daihatsu Mira, known locally as the Kore. And then, a defining moment in their corporate governance hit in 2008, when Toyota essentially doubled down on their belief in the region, buying up millions of shares to cement their long-term confidence in the Pakistani market.
Section 3. Local assembly versus imports.
Now that we know their history, how exactly does a giant like Toyota Indus structure its modern product lines to capture such a diverse consumer market? Well, the secret lies in a very deliberate two-pronged approach. On one side, you have locally assembled vehicles, built from complete knockdown kits right in Karachi. We're talking volume drivers like the Yaris and the Corolla, alongside heavy-duty favorites like the Hilux and Fortuner and the newer Corolla Cross. These are the engines of their domestic volume. On the other side, they cater to the premium and commercial segments through imported, completely built-up units from Japan or Thailand. These are vehicles like the luxurious Camry Hybrid, the legendary Land Cruiser, and commercial staples like the Hiace and Coaster. This dual strategy makes sure they cover literally every base, from the everyday commuter to the high-end luxury buyer.
Section 4. Decades of financial growth.
Now, this assembly to import strategy sounds great in theory, but how does it actually translate to the balance sheet? Prepare yourselves because this is a story of highly efficient exponential growth. Back in 2010, they were generating about 60 billion rupees in revenue with 3.4 billion in net income. By 2016, revenue had crossed the 100 billion mark. But here is the truly fascinating part. Between 2022 and 2025, even though top-line revenue actually shrank from 275 billion down to roughly 215 billion, their net income didn't drop. Actually, scratch that. It skyrocketed. It went from 15.8 billion to a massive 23 billion rupees. This points to an incredible level of operational efficiency and a highly strategic shift towards selling higher margin vehicles. Basically, they are making significantly more profit per vehicle sold today than they were just a few years ago.
Section 5. The hybrid export future.
And that shift toward higher margin, advanced vehicles brings us right to the climax of our corporate case study. To capitalize on the massive FY26 market boom we discussed at the start, Toyota Indus has been making some serious, future-proofing investments. The sheer speed of their strategic pivot is wild. In May 2023, they announced they'd bring local hybrid assembly to Pakistan. Just 2 months later, they began exporting automotive parts to Toyota Egypt. By December 2023, they officially launched a massive $100 million hybrid electric vehicle line. And by August 2024, they achieved something phenomenal, exporting fully assembled vehicles to Oceania countries. They transformed from a purely domestic player to an international exporter in barely over a year.
Let's crystallize those milestones for a second, because they're absolutely vital to understanding the future of this sector. That $100 million investment wasn't just for capacity, it was for cutting-edge technology, resulting in the Corolla Cross, the very first Toyota hybrid assembled locally in Pakistan. Furthermore, those historic exports to Oceania of the Corolla Cross, Hilux, and Fortuner, they demonstrate that local assemblers are no longer just looking inward. They are actively leveraging their upgraded tech and efficiency to cement a global footprint. They are proving, for sure, that vehicles built in Pakistan can compete on the international stage as a viable regional competitor.
Which brings us to the ultimate question. We've seen a nearly 40% surge in domestic sales. We've seen domestic manufacturers like Toyota Indus evolving from local assemblers to global exporters of hybrid technology. The momentum is undeniable, and the foundation has been completely modernized. So, as this incredible growth trajectory continues, what's the next destination for Pakistan's auto sector? I mean, if a local assembler can pivot to a global exporter in just 12 months, what does that mean for the future of regional manufacturing worldwide? It is a fascinating space to watch. I hope this explainer gave you the structured insights you need. Keep analyzing, and we'll see you in the next one.